Hello, and welcome to the new podcast series Shit I'm Learning in My Youth. I'm Angel, here to tell you about the series. This is a 5-part series which focuses on shit I'm learning in my youth. The series has funny moments, sad moments, and many interesting ones. I hope you enjoy. Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Shit I Learned in My Youth, and today I'm here with Osman.
Hey everyone.
Hi. So we're going to be talking about university. If you guys didn't know, I've recently applied to, well, you wouldn't know this first episode. I've recently applied to uni, and that's going to be a really big step in taking, and I'm really nervous. And any time I've looked at any website or brochure, it always seems to be like a group of white people at a picnic, eating a sandwich, holding a book. And I was like, is that really what university's like? Because I have some friends there, and most of them are partying and have a drug problem. So it didn't feel like it was well represented. I just didn't feel like it was well represented. So, well, yeah, I didn't feel like it was well represented. So I thought I would instead ask my dad's friend, kind of my friend now, we're friends now, about his uni experience. So let's start at the very beginning with UCAS. How did that go for you? Were you efficient? Did you take forever to do it? What did you do?
Remember. I remember I got into second year at Stanmore like you.
Hey.
And about, I'd say, obviously term starts in September. Around October they started drilling it into us to start looking at your personal statement, things like that, looking at the unis you want to go to, so on and so forth. First thing that I did before I did any of my UCAS stuff was I went and visited the unis that I wanted to apply to, and I'll get to that in a bit. But in terms of UCAS, I'd say it was probably around, they gave us a deadline of December the 15th, I believe it was at the time, and they said, because that's when we broke up for Christmas holidays, and they said, I'll have this done by this point or you won't get into uni, and scaremongering you into that. Obviously later on you find out that you can apply for UCAS in March and you still get into uni. So, but they drilled it into us. Obviously there was I think there's a bit of a fee. I don't know if they still charge for UCAS. It was like 20 something quid. Yeah. But I did my personal statement, say around, I started it around, say, November time. Started doing my personal statement. One of my tutor was helpful enough to look over it and things like that. But I didn't need much. I kind of knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I was writing, kind of thing. And then I'd say it was probably the last day of deadline, and I went, oh shit.
No, of course, it's good shit. I learned in my youth. Of course, you're allowed to swear.
Okay, that's right. So I just pressed the submit button, and I didn't actually have anyone look over it or anything like that. I kind of just went, you know what, I know what I want, so I'm gonna submit this, and whatever happens, happens. Obviously, it's all dependent on your grades at the end of the day, what you get, and from my experience, your UCAS application, yeah, it's important. Obviously, it's a step you have to do, but I don't think unis care too much about what you're putting in there as long as your grades. If you get like A stars across the board, they're not going to care about your personal statement. That's the way I saw it, because I'd seen some personal statements and those people got into uni because they had good grades. Yeah, and the personal statements weren't that impressive. But yeah, the process for me was pretty straightforward. I kind of stuck by the rules and just did what I had to do rather than getting sidetracked or whatever. Yeah, I left it bit late in the day, but got there in the end. So.
You're lucky you had a December deadline. This year we were told that the person who arranges all the UCAS stuff was leaving by November 5th. So we had to have everything submitted, done, handed in by November 5th. Okay. And she ended up not leaving.
Yeah, they never leave.
So it was just a classroom of about like 15 people going, well, shit, I'm fucked. I didn't work on my personal statement through the summer. I'm going to pull out my hair. Me, on the other hand, I was there like, already done it. Because I have a lot of free time that I fill up with work.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. It's good to be ahead of the game. I'd say that. If there was a piece of advice I'd give you, obviously you've done your UCAS now, but I'd say it's good to do it early and then you can focus on other things because it's just a headache.
See, I think I had a very different experience in regards to personal statement because my GCSEs are fucking shocking. Not my fault. Very traumatic thing happened in that year. Yeah. Okay, really bad thing happened which completely started my education. So I did level 2 and then level 3. So my personal statement was like the biggest thing that reflected who I actually am as a person, who I am academically, which was very nerve-wracking. And I remember going to the university's open day that I intend on going plan on going to.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with the place, I fell in love with the lecturer and everything. That's just what I wanted. And I looked at their grades and I was like, well, fuck, I'm not getting in. Better look at Middlesex. And then just kind of like gritted my teeth and started applying places.
I mean, don't get me wrong, personal statement again, like, just not to be, you know, what's the word what I'm looking for? Not to be, like, getting it wrong, really. I mean, it's important. It is very important, your personal statement, because it shows who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes most unis don't really interview you, and it's quite rare to get, like, a call up for an interview unless you're, I guess, going to, like, Oxford, Cambridge or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really sure. I never got interviewed for any of the unis that I was... Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
that's
but UCA, because their acceptance rates are something like 15%.
Oh, okay.
Of people who apply are accepted.
Stuff like that, I suppose they want to see you and
course,
they want to meet you, and they want to see who you are, kind of thing. So I guess for that context, it's important to have your personal statement, you know, down to a T where you can actually relay what you're like as a person. The only reason I'd say for me personally, it wasn't as important because what I was trying to achieve, I mean, you don't really need to tell them how, you know, how you are as a person in so many words. You can kind of just say, look, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm trying to achieve. I mean, I went into law, so there's not much that I personally at the time could say about it. I just said, look, I'm passionate about this and I want to do this, and that was the bottom line of my personal statement.
I think that's a takeaway from the difference between the two courses, because mine is very personal and very much like, what kind of person are you? What do you plan on producing? At the time of writing my personal statement, I was scripting a 360 film based on Lovecraft's short story. And they were so interested by that, and we spoke about it for a very long time. Like, most of the interview was because I had to make a portfolio. And please, UCAS people, how do I make a portfolio for a film course besides bringing out a laptop and being like, these are the short films I made, please pay attention to them? So I called the university because it said something like written, because it's a journalism course, but media production as well. So I called them and was like, hey, I haven't written anything, but I've made documentaries. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, just bring a laptop and make a website and stuff. And I was like, okay, how do I make a website? So I sat there gritting my teeth, getting through the best of what I think at the time was my best work and just uploading that. And there was only 2 of us interviewed at one time, because the person's forgot her name now, course leader, like, really, like, scrutinizes you. That's why there's only 2 of you. And one kid pulled out a portfolio and it was just screenshots of stuff he did, like, with the Windows bar. And I was like, you should have cropped that. Just open Photoshop, and I like pull out my Mac with my Louis Theroux stickers on it. It's just like, this is my website, this is my documentary. And she was really interested, and she spoke to me about it for a long time, which was nice.
This was the person that was interviewing you at the university,
yeah?
Did the other candidate get...
Yeah, we both got offers, which is good.
Okay, fair enough.
But she told us then that we were getting offers.
Oh, okay.
So that was very much like, oh god, okay. And none of the other universities, I think Middlesex and UAL replied to me, and they're like, yeah, we want you, and Hertfordshire.
Okay.
They all kind of accepted me, including Coventry, I think. And the minute UCA came through, I woke up my parents at 9 o'clock in the morning because I didn't want to do it without them. And I was like, okay, so it's come through. I'm going to decline all of them. And then my mum just sat there nervously like, oh god, this is actually happening. And I declined all of them. And then everything was sent off, and that was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, fair enough. But it's you got in where you wanted to go in it, which is the main thing. Then the rest of them, you can
just fuck them off.
Yeah, you can just kind of just... Who knows what would have happened?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But at least you get... A lot of people don't get the opportunity to go where they want to go for one reason or another. I didn't get the opportunity to go where I wanted to go.
I fully cried. The minute it came through, I wept like a child.
No, when you work hard, you can get those sort of moments of joy that you get in your life every now and again. But yeah, I applied to... I think it's Middlesex. City. Applied to... Stupidly applied to UCL. Stupidly applied to Warwick. Yeah, Warwick. Because Warwick was, at the time, it was like one of the leading, they had a leading law college there, so it was great. And then what else did I apply to? I think it was either Kingston or Roehampton, or Hertfordshire. I can't remember. It was one of the 3. I don't remember though. But long story short, I didn't get into any of them. You know, like so because
What did you do?
I mucked up my A levels so badly. Well, I was doing so at college. I was doing 3 A levels and a music tech course, which is B Tech, which is equivalent to 1 A level.
Mm-hmm.
Psychology, English, and law I was doing. Failed English, which was a shame because English was my best subject at school. So at my GC, I got 2 A stars English lit lang. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna smash this. And then for one reason or another, I didn't. And then psychology again was so I got a D in English, I think. I got a D in psychology. I got a C in law, and I got a distinction for music tech. So I thought, I can't do anything with music, right? Like, what am I gonna do? I can do that without having to study it.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went, okay, cool. What am I gonna? So I came home with my results in my hand, just like kind of like, oh, am I gonna tell my parents, kind of thing. I'm Asian, so you know they take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
And they were just looking at me like, oh god, you're such a failure. I don't know what we're gonna do with you, kind of like. I wasn't going to uni. It was a big thing in my house. Like my sister and my brother both were at uni at the time, so it was like expected of me to go to uni. I think I sat there for around 2 days. I sat on the phone just calling up all these different universities, and even the ones that I got rejected from, I was calling them saying, oh please let me in, please let me in. And eventually I called up. I saw an advert on the UCAS website for BPP Law School, and they're like, oh, we have spaces, call us, kind of thing. So I called up, just like we were speaking outside. I called up the uni and said, oh look, listen, this is my situation. I'm trying to get in. They were like, oh yeah, we've got like hundreds of spaces. You know, we'll take you on. What's your grades? So I told her my grades. She was like, you still don't make the cut, but well, to me, she was really nice. She was like, look, listen, I'll enroll you anyway, because once we enroll you, they're not gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna look back on it.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, God bless her wherever she is. I got in, and then from there on, I just kind of buckled down and like just worked hard. I didn't have a social life at uni. Like literally, I was always studying. Even if I wasn't at uni, I was at home studying, or even if I missed lectures or seminars, I'd come in later and I'd stay till like 11, 12 o'clock studying. We didn't have a 24-hour library, so I'd actually go to King's College across the road, who had a 24-hour library, and they'd allow us to kind of go study there. And yeah, one thing led to another. Ended up with a 2-1.
Is that good? I don't know.
Well, 2-1 is like so you've got a first,
good.
a 2-1, a 2-2, and a third.
Oh,
so your 2-1 would be like a B, for instance.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Maybe you could, yeah, which is great. I mean, I don't mind average.
Yeah, exactly.
Like average is good enough for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, did that, and then yeah, here we are today. Really, I'm not even working in law. Like, I'm in IT now.
How life changes.
Yeah, it works the way it works. But yeah.
I don't know. I think I had a very similar life-changing moment. So as I said, I failed most of my GCSEs. Was in a really bad place. Was gonna do law enforcement at Stanmore, and then Stephanie, head of department, called me up and was like, "Oh, so we're cutting that course."
Stephanie.
I don't know. C something. Tall, long hair, really cool.
Oh, okay. I'll just remember if it was someone who was around at my time. Sorry, Karen.
She probably was.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steph. But so she called me and was like, "You can either do media or run, do sports." And I was a bit, I was like, I was like, knee problems. I can't run.
Yeah.
Just gonna fail that immediately. And then media, I was like, well, I mean, what's the harm? At least I'm doing something for 3 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do after. And then I just completely fell in love with media and everything I've been doing in it. I've just completely fallen in love with it, and it was surprising to me because I was actually good at it. When you've never done a subject before and you're in this world and you're like, there are people around you who've studied it for like 5 years, and you're just there like, I know what a film is. You don't expect to go far in the course.
Yeah. So you didn't intend to do videos, you just kind of
I had absolutely no intention of doing any kind of BTEC or UAL course or anything. I was going to do A-levels, and I was going to do history, English, psychology, and something else. I think geography, probably.
Okay,
so I loved those at school, and I was really, really good at them. So it's a very similar situation where I loved this thing, I was really, really good at it, came to the final hurdle, and it was like, oh, thanks, life.
yeah.
Like, damn it,
that happens, trust me. That's going to happen to you a few times.
Couldn't you have just got sick the year after? Damn it. But
it worked, but I mean, as long as it works out for you in the end. Like I said, I didn't get into any of my unis, but it came full circle at the end. It just depends on how you make it, how you kind of run with your opportunities, really. Because you've got a platform. What you do with that platform is going to determine who you are for the next how many ever
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
So I did my degree, for instance, I did my degree in 2 years because I did an accelerated course. So I didn't even
What's
have
an
summers off.
accelerated course?
So basically at BPP they give you an option to do your exams during the summers as well, so you can actually have a summer semester where you'd be studying from say May to September. You'd have your exams in September, and then your uni sort of semester would start from September to January. It'd be another one. You do another set of exams in January, and it was quite exam heavy. So I actually did it in 2 years like that, so I didn't take summers off. I kind of worked through the summer, did my exams in September, and then back to uni again, like end of September or something. And then yeah, so it was one of those ones where it was like, you know what, I feel like I've been a bit behind in life because of what my A levels, what my A level results were. So that was my way of making up for it,
Yeah.
to get ahead of it, kind of thing. And at the end of it, on my graduation day, even though my graduation was at the same time as people that were graduating off the 3-year course, there was about 5 people that I personally knew that were graduating with me. Like I literally, none of my sort of friends at uni, quote quote, didn't graduate. They were either deferring exams or some of them got kicked out of uni because they failed more than 3 times. And so for me, it was kind of like you got to do it yourself. At the end of the day, you got to kind of no. And this is the one piece of advice I'd give you at uni as well. And I know you're quite like perfectionist anyway, and you know what to do anyway. But just don't get me wrong, have a social circle. Definitely have, but it helps. It really does. But don't develop a drug problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, just don't kill yourself over it.
Yeah.
To try to sort of fit in and
of course.
Freshers Week and all that is good, but that 2 weeks should be the only 2 weeks you should have during that winter period to be able to let loose or whatever. And the rest of it should be work really, and that's what I did. I didn't really have a Freshers Week or anything like that. And plus, I don't go out anyway, so I turned up on the first day of university like I was just ready to just hit the ground running, and from there on I just never looked back. And you'll have loads of social drama going on because there's still people around. Don't get me wrong, people are always going to be people wherever you go in the world. But you have to just kind of live through that and just make sure you get on the other end.
See, I think I'm kind of lucky in the sense of, this is going to sound quite rude, sorry guys, in the sense of I don't mind being alone. I actually enjoy being alone and much prefer it, which I know sounds really weird because I'm a teenage girl. I should be on social media trying to hike up the likes. Well, I feel like that's a social exception, what people expect from someone of my age. And I'm not like that at all. I'm incredibly hardworking. I never stop. I'm a perfectionist. I love what I'm doing right now. So everything I do doesn't feel like work. Like last night, I came home from college, from a whole day at college, and then just started writing like the first steps of my problem solving pages and things like that. And I didn't have to. It's just something I wanted to do. So I'm very lucky in the sense that right now, everything I'm doing is something I love. So I'm very scared that if I go into university, I'm a fish out of water. I have no idea what's going on, and I retrieve.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, the only way to get around that is really like if you ever feel out of place, for instance, if like you're going to university, don't get me wrong, you're gonna feel out of place for a little while, I suppose, because of I'd say like your personality. You're kind of alright being
the short hair, the tattoos.
You'll find those people there. You're going to an art school. Then you're gonna be like, what
we all look like this.
Yeah, believe me. And but I mean, again, like if I was in your position, say, which I was, say, when I went to uni, I felt out of place because, like I said, I'd had such a bad experience with my A levels that I was like, oh, how am I going to keep up with people that are actually academically sound and they're good at what they do? How am I going to compete with that? How am I going to go around trying to, make friends with people who might be way above my intelligence level? Because it's like, oh my god, university. Like, I was one of the youngest students in my year. There was a lot of mature students, for instance. But what I found was that, across the board, not everyone is like pompous and up themselves. You're gonna come across people that are like that, even especially at art school. That's where the most
at
of them
an art
are.
university.
That honestly, like you'll come across people like that. But to kind of, if you start feeling yourself kind of going back within yourself a bit, always just remind yourself that you're here for a reason. You're here for one reason, and that is to achieve your studies and get your degree or whatever, diploma, whatever it may be. And
undergrad.
And once you get that, then you've got to remember that was just a part of your life that's going to finish. It's not going to last forever. So whatever you feel at the time that you're feeling within those 3 or 4 years or whatever period of time, that's just going to go away eventually because you're going to move on. You're going to move back home or wherever you are. You're not going to stay, like, for instance, where the uni was. You're going to move out of there eventually, and then you're going to come back home and you're going to start looking for work, or you're going to have something lined up for you to do, or knowing you, I'm sure you'll have something already lined up for when you come out of uni, which is a good thing. I didn't have that, so I kind of finished uni and started twiddling my thumbs for about a couple of months, and I didn't know what I was doing. But for yourself, I can kind of imagine you coming out of uni and just having something to do.
Hopefully.
Which is
that's the plan.
Well, which is what you need to remind yourself of. You need to remind yourself that after this, there is something else to do. So I can't put all my eggs in this basket and define myself as a human being at this point in my life. I need to define myself later. For whatever reason, you might have a family one day, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, whatever. But you don't know that yet. You're young. You don't understand. But when you get there eventually, you'll remember that, oh my god, I had all that. Say I had like a bit of a difficult time at uni, but I moved on from that, and here I am now. That doesn't matter anymore.
I feel like I've had that kind of phase of my life already, though, coming out of GCSEs, which I know is a very early hurdle to hit, because most people come out of GCSEs like with flying colours, and I'm just there with like nothing. Like, how did everything go so wrong? So going into college with people who were not in a similar boat to me, had all the GCSEs, everything was fine, then reflecting on that and being like, am I just an idiot? Is that what happened? Or was it because of that phase in my life I was like caged, so I couldn't come out of it? So I've already kind of hit that hurdle of everyone else around me is so much more intelligent than me and I don't know how to cope. And then I kind of went, fuck it, I'm going to be as good as everyone else around me.
I mean, it's just an example, really. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, I have different insecurities. For instance, one of my insecurities was, oh my god, there's going to be smarter people than me. I'm not that clever. Like, how am I going to cope?
You're very clever.
Well, I like to think now I am. Yeah. Do you mean? But back then, when you're going into something, then it's that, because I'm quite an anxious person.
Same.
I suffer from multiple anxiety disorders. So for me, it's like I can't even get on the train in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you, obviously, like I said, it's not. I mean, that's just one of the examples. But and to the point where you're saying, like, obviously, where you've already had kind of an experience like that, never think that that's only going to be the one time you're going to have.
Oh no, I'm completely prepared for it.
Hopefully, nothing like that happens again. But it obviously sets you up better for the next time. But something else might happen, where you're going to have to adapt what you learnt the first time around to this situation now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So never feel like you've been through all of it. Because, for as long as you live, and you can probably ask your parents about this, they'll keep telling you, there's just one thing after another all the time. Which is a bit of a cynical way of looking at it, but you're going to have some low times at university, that's expected. Times where you just burn out and you don't want to do it anymore. It's like, oh, fuck it, I don't really want to study today. I just want to go to sleep. But, you've got a piece of work that's due in tomorrow morning, and you have to get it done, or else, your grade messes up.
Yeah.
You're going to have times like that, but again, it's just down to you telling yourself, like, you're here for a purpose. You're not here to, impress people around you. You need to get your grade and you need to get out of there. For me, uni was like, okay, I need to get from this end to the other end. How do I do it quickly? That's why I got on a 2-year course. I was like, I need to get out. I can't stay here for more than 2 years. That's ridiculous. How can I do that to myself? Like, I will go crazy here. So I took it upon myself to finish as soon as possible. But all the while telling myself that I just need to get this is something I have to do.
Yeah.
This isn't something that I can choose on, because this is what I need to do to be able to get to C.
Yeah.
So then.
So if you don't mind me just asking, what happened with your A levels? Was it just a case of?
There was loads of things with my A levels. It was I thought I studied quite hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where I messed up my A levels was my exam technique. That's where I messed up my A levels. I was not good at the exam formats that were being presented to me at the A levels that I was doing. I just couldn't get them right. I couldn't get the questions right, because, I mean, the law exam was quite alright for me because I actually passed that. I got seen that, so I was good with that. But with psychology and English, I don't know. Like, I just kind of, like, I forgot how to write essays, for instance. I don't know, on the day. Sometimes it depends on the day. I knew the information. Don't get me wrong, I knew what the answers to the questions were, but I just, for some reason, forgot how to articulate it. And I think I just had very consistent bad days around then. And then on the other hand, maybe I thought I'd studied quite hard, but maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I was fucking around a lot more. But I remember not having any time to myself when I was at college. I was always studying. So I don't know where. I couldn't even tell you where it went wrong. It was just bad. I guess it was just sometimes you're only as good as what you are on the day.
Yeah.
And I think consistently for that few weeks, I was just very bad on every day of the exam. Apart from music, I mean, music was a slow burner, so I did coursework and stuff like that, and I could perfect what I'm doing. But I don't know. I think my anxiety heightened around the time to the point where it was like, oh my god, I need to, that pressure to get into uni, and oh my god, if I don't get this grade, I won't get into this uni, and then it just got to me. I think it just got to me to the point where I actually wrote in my psychology exam right at the end saying, please don't fail me. Like, I actually wrote in...
They didn't take note of that.
They didn't take note of that. They failed me. But I was so desperate.
Yeah, you would have done anything.
I tried to cheat. I tried to, do everything. Every dirty trick in the book. It didn't work. Because as soon as I entered the exam hall, I just kind of went blank. I forgot all my notes. I forgot where I'd hid all my answers in the toilet. You know what I mean? Everything I just forgot. So, that's what really happened. My A-levels really. There was nothing going on in my personal life, for instance, that impacted it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was really nothing going on. I was just living a normal, teenage life. I'd get my EMA every Friday, and it was just that. I didn't have any distractions or anything like that. I just came to uni, went home, met up with friends and stuff, just lived a normal life. So there was nothing personally impacting me, like it would have, like most people would have if they were to phenomenally fail like I did.
I mean, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I never did A-levels, so I don't know the grade system or anything, but to me it doesn't sound like you did that bad. Like, I know you failed, but...
it was, believe me...
I mean, bad to yourself, but I mean, like, on paper, I'm sure there are people who've done worse than you.
Yeah, there are people that have done worse than me, but I hold myself to at least, not a high standard, but I hold myself to at least an average standard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't... Like, I'm not looking to get perfection. I'm kind of looking to do enough to get me to the next part of my life, and then I can work on what I lacked the last time.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I had to overcome a few hurdles when I was at uni in terms of like having to change the way I revise, change the way I take notes, change the way I listen, change the way I speak to people, change the way how my way of discussing sort of work. Like a lot of conversations that I had were in the library, for instance, with people who were studying the same thing, and I just actually talked to them about what we were learning, and that helped a lot. So I changed a lot about myself in terms of my revision technique and stuff like that. I did more past papers, for instance. A lot of university exams, especially in law, are quite freehand, so it's like you can kind of just go. There's no one way of doing it, whereas at college there was one way of answering each question. Whether the information was different is subjective, but the examiner was marking it as okay, he didn't hit this point. It was quite kind of formal or uniform in a sense. But with uni, it was kind of like, okay, cool, give your argument. If we think your argument's good enough, we'll pass you. If it's not, then we'll explain to you why you can't get this grade or whatever. So it's different when you get there. They kind of treat you more like adults in uni, I suppose. So they understand everyone has a different style of learning, and everyone has a different style of writing and things like that. So I guess that played into my favour a bit more, because I wasn't restricted to doing it one way, whereas at college I felt like there was only one way of, well, at least that's how I felt.
Yeah, no, of course.
Everyone else might have felt differently, but I thought there's only one way to answer this question, and I just couldn't master that one way to do it.
I'm kind of grateful, and I've said this to a few people, I'm kind of grateful for what happened in my GCSE year, just because it's led me onto a journey to where I am now. And I don't think that I would have been able to deal with A-levels, because exams freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably wrong, but anyone I've spoke to about A-levels, do you think, and you did a BTEC as well, do you think it was harder to do your A-levels or the BTEC?
For me, it was definitely the A-levels, because I actually did well in the BTEC, so I'm guessing it was easier. I'm trying to think back about the difficulties that, okay, for instance, during BTEC, the difficulties I had were the fact that it was there was things like, obviously the coursework was pretty straightforward, but then for instance, you think you've done the best piece of coursework ever, and then they go, oh, that's a pass.
Yep.
And it's like, so, but
I know that pain.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that was a difficulty I found with BTEC. It's like, how do I take this to the next level, and then the level above that? What am I missing from here? And they obviously don't give you all the answers. Obviously, I wasn't one to be spoon-fed anything, but I'd be going back and forth with Laurie, for instance, be like, okay, what do I need to write here? What do I need to say here? And he'd just be sitting there going, well, maybe you should do this or do that, and to the point where I just have to force it out. I couldn't get the whole... I couldn't take it if it was just like, this is just a pass. I was like, no, it's not. that's definitely a merit at least. Like it would
That
piss
is
me off.
also my fight. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I find myself repeating the same things to get to that next level. For instance, like I just like add a sentence on saying the same thing I said in the beginning, for instance, in a piece of work, and it's like, oh no, that's a merit now. It's like, yeah, but I mentioned that.
I've already said that
3 paragraphs ago. Yeah.
Do you want
so
me to
why don't?
bold it for you?
Yeah, like what?
I know exactly what
so
you mean.
it just depends on who's marking your work sometimes. I suppose.
I think with especially with
No offense
Stanmore.
to Laurie, by the way. He was a
Laurie's a great guy.
Honestly,
like
he was a great
he's
teacher.
a solid dude.
Like, I really enjoyed Laurie's classes. I thought he was really helpful, and like I hope to see him one day and catch up with him. Really. So
you've said that recorded now. I'll play that back to him just so he knows.
Yeah,
but I found Laurie was my teacher for a few months in my first year, and I found him very helpful. I felt like Stanmore in particular. I'm gonna trash on you guys. I'm sorry. It was very hectic. They didn't have consistent teaching staff for a good few months because a few of the teachers got sick. No fault to their own, but there was just no consistent teaching staff. And then when there were teachers there, they would just shit. So it just left us in a situation. No, the college know this. I have told them 100 times.
Yeah.
But it just left us in a situation where it's like, so we have a teacher this year. He's completely an amazing dude. All the teachers I actually have in my final year are so good. I wish I could retake my first year. But he taught us about lighting. He taught us about sound. He taught us about like specific camera angles and all of this stuff we should have been taught in the first year. So this year we were very much playing catch up with everything, which was incredibly stressful. So I kind of went, fuck it, I'm gonna make a podcast. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Fair enough.
But I know exactly what you mean by coursework can be very frustrating because you feel like you've made an amazing piece and then you'll get it back and it would just be red scribbles all over the fucking shop.
It's disheartening.
But the good thing is now everything's online, so they have to tell you in person.
Yeah.
But I do find the teachers at Stanmore very helpful for finding feedback. Anytime when I handed in my last project, there was two teachers who marked it. One said it was distinction, one said it was merit. I found the merit teacher. I went, so why is it a merit? You tell me so I can improve for the future.
Yeah.
And we just sat down, we chatted, we spoke about it. I wrote all the stuff down. He was like, but I think you're going to get a distinction in the final project, so don't stress. And then I was just there like, until it's on that paper and I see it, that doesn't mean I have it.
No, to be fair, I had some really good teachers. All of my teachers at Stanmore, I really got on with. I had a psychology teacher. He was only there. It was his last year before he retired. His name was Graham Strange. This guy.
Was he strange?
Oh fuck me! This guy strange. He was just like the first conversation I had with him. Well, as a class, we sat in, and we'd already heard about. Oh yeah, Graham Strange. He's really cool. This that. All the other students were telling us like he's really cool. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me see what this guy's like. It's a massive class, psychology class, and he goes. First thing he said was, "I met John Lennon before he was famous." That's the first fucking thing he said. And I went, do you know what, me and you are going to go just fine. Literally. And then he started telling us a story about how he went and saw the Beatles, who they were called the Quarrymen before they were called the Beatles.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so before they were called the Beatles, I think Lennon and McCartney were like in that. Or was it just then? I'm not sure. But he was like, he was, because I travelled from Chesterfield to Liverpool with my girlfriend at the time to go see these guys called the Quarrymen, and I met John Lennon there before he was famous. That's the first thing he took. This is psychology A level, and that's the first fucking thing I was like, this guy's so cool.
This is just your dude.
So cool, like literally. And but one thing I'd say, the guy didn't give a shit. He literally didn't give a shit about who passed.
That's like the worst kind of teacher.
He was retiring.
This is last year,
he didn't give a crap.
He said like a good 30 years of it. No, it's just like whatever. I met John Lennon.
Very interesting guy, very ecstatic, very like Doc Brown kind of person. Do you know what I mean? Like very mad scientist kind of vibe. Had the hair, had the glasses, everything. Really, really cool. And then my law teachers were pretty cool as well. Obviously, like I said, Laurie and Dan Brown, they were pretty cool as well. Like I got on with all of them. To be fair, I got on with all my teachers.
Yeah.
So I could never blame them for the fuck ups that I had during my exams, because I actually sat down with them multiple times, perfecting things again and again to the point where they were like, "You'll be fine." And then when they saw my grades,
that's the kind
they
of
were
reassurance that I hate.
Yeah.
So, don't tell me I'm fine. Tell me how to improve.
Exactly. Yeah. They did. Don't get me wrong, but and ended up like that. But I had some good teachers, man. Like I can always I'd actually, if I was ever to go back and say visit Stanmore for whatever reason, or if one of my kids went to Stanmore. Yeah.
And TJ.
Well, I think my old law teacher Punjab, I think he's still there as well.
Possibly, I'd have to hunt him down.
Yeah, young Asian geezer. He was really
Young
really
when
cool.
you were there.
He no, well, he was 23
Oh wow.
when I was going to college. So obviously he's obviously a bit old now, but he was really cool. Like he was so because he was like he just come out of uni and he just did his teaching course. He was a law teacher and he just got us. He actually understood us.
Because he was like your age.
Yeah, well, we treated him like he was like, I used to go for a smoke with him, like catch him in the smokers area.
That happens. That happens.
And yeah, it was. I had some good times there, but yeah, the teachers. I couldn't knock the teachers there. I think a lot of the teachers that I had at least were really good.
The teachers I currently have, I feel pretty much the same way about like all. I adore all of them. The one I was telling you, my film teacher, we did his interview with him, and he did a presentation about horror films.
Yeah.
And he looked at my arm and went, "Is that Edgar Allan Poe?" And I was like, "Yeah,
there we go.
it is."
Yeah.
And then he left, and Stephanie asked us all questions, and I went, "Hire him," and she was like, "Why?" I was like, "Because he knew who my tattoo was." Do you know how many people know who my tattoo is? Zero. No one. But he did. He's a good star. Good of him.
Yeah, fair enough.
And another one of my film teachers, and I didn't know this until recently, but I have a tarot cards and stuff, and I let my friend borrow them for his film production, and my teacher saw them and was like, "I can read tarots. That's a really cool box. I like your cards." I was like, "Oh my god, thank you."
It's nice when someone can relate to your weird hobbies, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just like that. I feel like that it's just like that in Stanmore. So I'm really excited to leave. But I really don't want to leave just because of them.
That a little bit, yeah. It's gonna. I had to say, I didn't have a problem leaving college. I had a problem when I left school because I actually had a blast for the last 2 years of my school year, so my GCSE years, because I finally settled in, found some friends, and finally stopped getting picked on. So so I had like a little group of my mates and stuff, and like we were all like always just hanging out after school and all that. So I enjoyed that last period of school, and I enjoyed college for the first year. For my second year, I wouldn't say it was quite enjoyable because of what eventually happened.
Yeah, it was stressful.
But you'll get that. Like you'll get that whole like, oh man, college. Like you'll miss your routine. You'll miss your you'll miss seeing the same faces and the comfort of knowing I can just kind of be myself here.
See, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just my teachers and some of my classmates and like the tech department that we
Fair
have.
Enough, yes, sir.
Like I'm just gonna miss them so much. I didn't have this with high school. I left high school like fuck this shit, I'm out, and left.
Yeah.
And like didn't care. The minute I started applying to colleges and sixth forms and things, I was like, the last place I'm going is Hatchet. I'm not even putting it on there. I hate this school. I hate everyone here. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So being in an environment where I feel comfortable with everyone and leaving that is really scary. And I've been there for 3 years now, so it's a long period of time.
Quite a your life. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of I'm scared. I'm not regretting it. I just wish I could redo it for the rest of my life, just because I've just loved it so much.
Unfortunately, Angel, that's not how life works. So,
I wish it was. If someone finds, and it's move immediately.
Move on.
Cut the umbilical cord and chuck the baby.
Rip the bandage off. Okay, that was dark. For God's sake.
Sorry.
What the fuck? Really,
don't chuck baby.
Come on.
It could be Family Guy if you wanted it to be.
I love Family Guy, you know that. That's the only thing I watch on telly.
Rick and Morty is really good if
Rick
you like
Morty's
Family
great.
Guy.
Yeah. I've just finished it though. Like I need to.
Didn't like the last episode.
What was the last episode again?
The one with the American president.
Oh yeah, that was bollocks. Yeah. I like the episode where they go to Atlantis, but then there's something going on in the Rick Citadel.
Oh yeah,
I love that episode. That was really cool.
My favorite one is the Snuffles one. With the dog.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite, just because of the line, "Where are my testicles?" Somehow.
That one and the Mr. Hi, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Yeah. How can I help you?
Mrs. Meeseeks, yeah, that.
Sorry, Kat.
Sorry, bit of a tangent. I'm gonna keep that in there just so people are educated.
Yeah, they need to know about Family Guy, Rick and Morty. Okay.
Just put them on your list now. Just trust us.
We're gonna get that Szechuan sauce, Morty.
Exactly.
We're gonna get that sauce, Morty. It's gonna take us 9 seasons, Morty, but we're gonna get that sauce. Sorry, go ahead.
Perfect. I like having someone who knows Rick and Morty stuff.
Oh yeah.
But so I do have one question. Did you live at home or on campus?
Lived at home.
Why did you make them? Oh.
Yeah. So I just got on the train every morning.
Oh, fair enough.
I took the money though. I took the loan and stuff.
Stuff I was
living at. But
as everyone does.
Yeah, which is a big mistake really. I'm in so much debt now. It's not even funny. Like, because they sell your loan to another company. Do you know what I mean? Like so basically student finance apparently don't keep your debt. They
Mhm.
sell your debt to a third party company who then pursue you
I didn't know
and they
this.
add like 4% on top of your interest rate that you would have been paying back student finance. I didn't know this.
Well, now you guys know it at
Yeah,
home.
well, I think, don't quote me on it, go out and do some research on it,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
believe that some parts, or some amounts of the debts that they collect from students, I think a part of it, a percentage of it goes to a third party company, or they sell all of them, I'm not sure. But I do know that my interest rate from what I was quoted at student finance when I first got it is completely different to what I'm paying now. So I can only assume that, because interest rates haven't risen for last I checked, so I'm not sure how it's really happened. But
So is there nothing you could do about it, Mr. Lawman?
no, I don't think there is. You just got to take the hit. You just got to take the L and just kind of just pay it back when you're making the amount of money, and then hope one day that black cloud disappears.
So do you think going to university and paying that amount of debt was actually good for you?
I don't. Do you know what? That's the ultimate question in my life that I still can't answer personally, because it's like, would I have been where I am today? And God bless, I'm in a really good position today. Would I have been there if I didn't go through the 3 years of uni? Would I have been able to jump through something else, or where would I be? Kind of, I don't. Those are questions that I can't answer. So the easiest way to answer it for me is that, you know what? Because I'm here now, obviously I had to do that to be here. So I think it was a great decision. And the debt is not worth it, I'd say, in terms of like the amount of what it is, but I would definitely pay something to be where I am today. If that answers the question.
Yeah, that helps a lot. Just because I know when I started applying, there were a lot of questions among peers and things like, is it actually worth the amount?
Well, you guys are paying £9,000 a year, isn't it? So we were paying £3,000 a year. So
anytime I think about it.
I think
a lot of money.
I think that question is more prominent now
than
it was before when I was going to uni. So I guess our answers. So in the context of your situation, fuck no. Fuck no. Go get an apprenticeship.
They're really hard to get into.
They are very difficult to get into, but what is it?
That's true. I don't know. I feel like uni is the right route for me right now.
Yeah. If you think it's the right thing for you to do, then don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm just saying, if that was me right now, I'd be on an IT apprenticeship.
If I did an apprenticeship, it wouldn't. I have the advantage that I've worked before, if you know what I mean, and I've worked since I could get my national insurance number. So working wouldn't be a shock to me.
Yeah.
But some people who've never worked a day in their life get an apprenticeship, and then they're like, oh shit, I actually have to be awake at a certain time.
Yeah, you got to get a routine going and everything. Yeah.
I'm really lucky in the sense of that I have just worked, and it's given me more experience with talking to customers, talking to people, getting what I want, and kind of bargaining my way through life.
It definitely helps.
That's definitely the experience I've got from working. So I'm looking forward to the experience I'm going to get from uni. Is there any advice you'd give anyone going into law?
Read a lot. Read every piece of legal information that you can find anywhere in
all
terms
the PDFs.
of like. Well, I mean, don't kill yourself over it, but read everything that's relevant to your course. Anything that you can find, because this is what helps me. I read case law that, for instance, when you're doing an essay or a piece of coursework, you have to quote a bunch of case law to back up your argument. Yeah.
What is case law for those who don't know?
Case law is basically, in the simplest form, it's basically the cases that go through a court and then they become either law, or the application of the law is.
Oh, because of that case.
Yeah, so it works 2 ways. So
happens a lot of murder, right?
Well, murder is obviously, say for instance you've got a law for murder, is obviously murder is illegal. That law would be applied into a case, hence the term case law.
Case law.
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably not the best definition of it. Anyone who's actually studied law might listen to this go, he's talking shit.
Just tweet me at learning shit in my youth if you've got a better explanation.
Got a better explanation, please explain. I went
just
to law
tweet
school
and Instagram me.
I don't know. Well, I work at Alan Overy now, but I don't know. Yeah. So I'd say really just try to read as much legal information. Try to go outside of the books that you've been given to read for your course. Try branch out a bit, learn some different information to what they're actually teaching you, because I believe that sets you apart from sort of a 2-1 and a first, which is your B or a B to an A kind of thing. If you can impress your sort of lecturers and examiners with information, because ultimately they're the ones who are marking your courseworks and your exams, so you've got to impress them. If you can impress them with knowledge rather than just showing up on time all the time, obviously that's good as well, but I think your knowledge would be the thing that will get you from law school rather than doing the bare minimum. I'd say I did just above the bare minimum because I'm just not good, but it worked. It works because I actually went out there and went in my spare time. Went, you know what? I'm gonna read this book instead of the one that they've given me. Or do you know what? I'm gonna go read the news, for instance, see what's going on in the world, for instance, or like for subjects such as public law or constitution and administration law. It's good to know current events. You know what's going on in Parliament, for instance. What's going on in the world. I did a whole essay on Israel and Palestine for my public law exam. So, but that wasn't part of my course. That was just an application of what I've learned and going, do you know what? I can apply this to this scenario as well. So I'm going to write about this instead.
Yeah.
I got first in that, just off the back of my lecturer said, you know what? That was really cool because no one else actually thought of that. They actually used the same example that I gave to them in class. Everybody, but you actually went and used the Israel Palestine example, which is really prominent. So I was like, okay, cool, that's great. So yeah, it's good to think outside the box. Really, that's the one piece of advice I'd give.
The advice I'd give in regards to college, just because I haven't got to uni yet, but the advice I'd give when it comes to college is, in my first year, the biggest lesson I learned was do not be afraid to ask for help, and do not be afraid to just be like, hey, I know we have like a day, but would you mind just skimming over so I can improve? Because there was a situation where so we went to go film, and the day before I had a fracture in my wrist because I fell over at a theme park because I'm an idiot. So when I was filming, it was really shaky. And when I had an editor, she didn't edit anything until about a week before the deadline, which was very stressful. And my teacher basically went, we want to give you a distinction. We know how hard you've worked, but you might not even scrape a pass.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay, great. So I wrote a good 7-page open letter, pouring my heart out, crying. I'm so sorry. And my teacher basically went, that's why you're here in level 3, because you admitted everything you did wrong and put your hands to it and you owned it, and you weren't like, oh, it's her fault, it's this fault. You just went, this is completely on me. The second advice would be, do not be afraid to take on projects people are telling you not to do. Because the podcasting project, I had a few people who were like, do you really think that's a good idea? Because you've never done it and you weren't taught audio stuff. And I was like, yeah, I think it's a good idea because I'm not making another film. I'm bored of that. I'm going to do something I enjoy, I love, and that I think is a really beneficial form of media, especially in our day and age.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of just went, oh, fuck you, and I'm going to do it. Like it or love it. Like it or lump it. That's what I'm doing.
Don't let people tell you or dictate your decisions. If you feel like you want to do something.
Yeah, of course. If you can apply the right amount of work, then do it. So that's kind of my final thoughts. Anything else?
No, just good luck to you with all your shit, and I'm sure it's gonna go well anyway. But
good luck to you with all your music and stuff. He makes music; it's really good. Trust me.
It's okay.
No, it's good. He's fluffing. It's good. Anyways, that's the end of the first episode of the series. Thank you, Osman, for joining me in the studio.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, audience, for listening, and thank you to my dad, Michael, for sitting in the room pressing a button. Cheers, on. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.